Deserved winners of the Ashes, you have to say. Australia, they've retained the urn on home soil, and it's been an impressive display. There we go, the confetti cannons, they got there in the end. I felt there was a stuttering start there, but hey, they've been good value for money, haven't they, JL?
Yeah, I think it's a fair result in the end. It was tight, it was a missed opportunity, Cookie, I agree with that. But look at all the performers. Mitchell Starc, outstanding. Travis Head had an incredible series. Alex Carey was great as a wicket keeper. You got Scott Boland, who was just kept the pressure on the whole time. Michael Neser would never have dreamed about playing this Test series and came and did a great job. So many contributors. They've played well and they deserve the victory.
Yeah, I think it was pretty even Stevens with the bat, but Australia undoubtedly better with the ball. And in the field, it was an absolute no-brainer. At the times when you really need to take a catch at the half chance to win a match, Australia did that time and time again. I'm thinking back to the two catches Labuschagne took in Adelaide that were game-changing catches, one-handed speckies, but they absolutely changed the game and won the Test match for Australia. So I'll take my hat off to Australia. They outperformed what I thought they were capable of, and England, I think they underperformed on this trip.
Australia won all the big moments. Anytime there was the game up for the grabs, whether it was in the field, whether it was the bat, whether it was the ball, they won those moments. And the 4-1 scoreline doesn't flatter them. It is a fair reflection in the golf of the side because of what Graeme has just said. Australia played to probably their peak of their ability with the group of players who's represented Australia. You've named pretty all of them, and England have been underneath their potential. Too many of them, and you can't afford to do that in Australia. Yet again, they still created these opportunities in pretty much all the games of cricket. But when the game was in the balance, you know, whether it was a brilliant catch by Australia or brilliant spell of bowling or bad batting by England, that's what's separated these two sides.
Yeah, I think that's an especially big point. You don't get many opportunities to beat Australia over here, but England have created those opportunities and yet weren't good enough to take them. Australia at home will always create opportunities for themselves to win, and they were good enough to grab every one.
Yeah, I think without Archer and Wood, as there is so much emphasis on the fast bowling, without those two, they broke down through the series. And, of course, Atkinson. But the flip side of that, if England had have come here knowing they weren't going to play Hazelwood, Lyon and Cummins, you would be licking your lips. You'd still be licking your lips.
Absolutely. Steve Smith missed a game. There's loads of things which went England's way off the field in terms of a bit of luck you need, and they just haven't been able to capitalise it. You go back to the one big moment for me. The one big moment of the whole series which set the whole tone was, and everyone knows it, it was that 100 for one at Perth in day two.
Lunchtime.
At lunch two, I know they weren't 101, but effectively they're 100 runs ahead with 1 wicket down. And backstage, behind the scenes, all the ex-Aussie players were gunning for the Australian side. They'd been poor, they'd bowled poorly, this England side. They even mentioned the walk to the ground, they were here. The 100 for one, England had to bat. Not only had to bat, but they had to bat really well for 1 out against one bowler, which was, at that time, the series was Mitchell Starc. And they didn't take that opportunity. And guess what? They let Australia off the hook. And from that moment on, those 4 wickets meant that Australia gained confidence, England lost confidence. And for me, that is the clinical moment. If England had won that moment, I'm not saying they would have won 5-0 or anything like that. This series would have had a totally different perspective because all the pressure shifted to Australia. The confidence they got from beating England in that situation carried through, and in particular someone like Travis Head, who was having an absolute nightmare leading up to the series, a poor first innings, walks out of bat, you know, with a bit of a free shot, gets 100 when they should have been chasing at least 300, and you know, that is it. That is the series there, and then everything else kind of have fallen from there.
I couldn't agree with you more. And the 2 low-scoring Test matches we had just shows how difficult the third innings is in a low-scoring game, because England couldn't cope with the pressure in the first Test, and then in Melbourne last week, Australia simply couldn't cope with the pressure of setting a target. So short games, low-scoring games, tend to bring out substandard cricket, tends to bring it to the top. And those 2 Test matches, although they were exciting for the neutral, they weren't good spectacles.
And also, we've got to forget, so all these opportunities at Perth we created, 5-man bowling attack, all the lead-up was we want 5 pace bowlers to beat Australia. They didn't need that. So off the field, I'm not even starting on preparation for this tour. I'm starting this preparation 2 years ago. They played this series with the bowling attack they needed in 17-18 or 2021, but these pitches were totally different to what they have been. I know there's a bit of uncertainty because I was questioning, so I'm going to a little bit go the other way as well. Just say I was questioning, will Cricket Australia be that brave and risk shortened test matches when we all know money does talk? And, you know, you want games to go 4 or 5 days, and we've been playing on green seamers, whether they'll scrap all that. But I don't think the pitches can do that. So England missed another trick by saying we just need pace. You didn't need pace, you needed accuracy. And England, guess what? You can have a lot of bowlers with accuracy, and they haven't picked them.